Thank you for tuning in with us every Thursday at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. About our host, Carlotta Taylor is not just a survivor of child abuse, but has grown into what we come to know as our personal thriver against all odds, who no longer flinches at adversity, but overcomes with authority. Carlotta decided to find the courage to say yes to herself. Miss Taylor has piece by piece faced her biggest adversary, the brokenness, and healed not only herself, but has also affected thousands through her outreach and influence. Carlotta Taylor is the author of the best-selling book, No More Flinching. Getting to the heart of the matter has always been what Carlotta is about. To keep in touch, text Carlotta to 888-111. It's time for the show to begin. It wouldn't be the same without you, because this is the place people bond worldwide, sharing powerful stories, prevailing over adversity. The heart of the matter is the people's joy. Now, turn your attention to our host, Carlotta Taylor, as the show begins.
As a writer, you want to always keep the readers in mind. If you write from your own point of view, you might just miss the point because you want to make a connection. You want to make sure you engage with the reader. Failure to do so will cause them to put your book down if they get bored and never pick it up again. She wasn't always this way. The woman that you see today, looking amazing, doing amazing things in life, being the expert writer, helping others publish their book, she's come a long way. She survived being depressed. She survived being unpretty in her own skin, feeling that she was too short, too dark. Joining us today is none other than Tenita Johnson. How are you doing, Tenita?
I'm awesome, Carlotta. Thank you so much for having me. Beautiful intro. I love it. I love it. I'm like, that's my bio. It sounds so great. That's me. Thank you so much for having me, Carlotta.
Amazing. I am so excited to have you here today. So excited. So what I want to do right now is I want to get everyone's attention, and I want to play a quick little preview of you and show how you operate.
Awesome.
I'm Tenita Johnson, author and book strategist. For over 10 years, I've written 15 books, produced a sold-out stage production, and helped hundreds birth their best-selling books.
One second, I think we're not showing it like I want to see it.
They are literally
you gotta love technology.
Let's get this thing right here. Hold on. Let's do it. Let's run it back real quick. Let's run it back. One moment.
Right.
There we go. See, this is too amazing to miss. We got to make sure we get it right.
Yes. There it is.
I'm Tenita Johnson, author and book strategist. For over 10 years, I've written 15 books, produced a sold-out stage production, and helped hundreds birth their best-selling books. Many people have a great idea for a book, but they have no idea where to start. They are literally staring at a blank page. So it's my purpose and my passion to help them in their journey. So I created something called the Red Ink Conference, a live event for aspiring authors, giving them the necessary tools to brand, publish, and market their book. And as much as I love live events, I thrive best when I'm working with individuals one-on-one. Being able to help someone with their book project from start to finish is what I live for. That's why I launched my virtual book strategy program. In this program, you'll receive strategic direction for your book and clarity on your target market. And I'll teach you the tools on how to monetize your message. You'll even have the option to work with me personally to write your book and finish it in record time. The process of writing and publishing a book can seem overwhelming, but I'm here to teach you how easy it can be. So let's talk today about how we can work together to get your book started.
All right. So let's go ahead and jump right in it. Tanisha, what does getting to the heart of the matter mean to you?
So, getting to the heart of the matter, Carlotta, for me means getting to the root. You think about the body, the heart is the core, the heart is what keeps us going. Literally, I tell people get to the root, do your work, but getting to the heart of the matter is getting to the core of a thing.
Oh, I love that answer. Getting to the core.
Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing. So I want to go back. Let's rewind the hands of time. All right. And tell us about little Tanisha growing up. How was life for you during childhood development phase?
So I was born to a 14-year-old mother. Rumor had it I was supposed to be aborted, but praise God, I'm here. Never met my father. I would not know my father today if he walked down the street, Carlotta. And that kind of shaped a lot of my mistakes, if you will. Being a daddyless daughter, I grew up with my grandmother until I was about 9 years old, and me and my mother relocated from Chicago to Detroit. So very, very tumultuous childhood and tumultuous teenage years. Lack of identity, low self-esteem, suicidal thoughts, depression, you name it, I've been through it.
Wow. Wow. I
Yeah.
noticed you said something about abortion, and
Yeah.
we have that we have that in common because my mother was actually paid money to have me aborted. But
Wow.
thank God
Wow.
I had a praying great grandmama
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
a
Thank
mom
God
who
for
yielded.
praying grandmothers.
Yes,
Yeah.
and a
Yeah.
mom
Because
who yielded.
we would not be sitting here today if somebody hadn't prayed and interceded. I thank God for that. Because Carlotta, it's easy to say don't abort, but at 14, if I got pregnant, I can't say that I would have kept a baby either. I'm 13 and 14 years old,
That's very powerful. Just right there alone at 14 years old and
14.
pregnancy,
Yeah.
that's a lot. And
She was 13 when she got pregnant. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, who's to say who would keep their child at 13, 14 years old?
That's
I
right.
could not
That's right.
imagine, Tanisha. So just the fact that you were born into
Yeah.
a world without a father and a
Right.
teenage, pretty much a preteen coming out of preteen mother.
Right. A ninth grader. Yeah.
So, so I believe in one of our talks that we had previously, I believe you said you and your mother's relationship was more like a sister relationship. Is that right?
It was. So people laugh and joke and they say I was my grandmother's 11th child because she had 10. So she had 5 girls, she had 5 boys, and then there was me. And she raised me until I was 9, of course, because my mother was 14. She's the baby, and then there was me. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So let's fast forward a little. So you're here, you're in the world, you're young, and you're fatherless. And so how
Yeah.
did life roll out for you the next few years, like say high school and beginning of college years?
So high school for me, very promiscuous, really searching for love in all the wrong places, if you will. And I don't think that's a cliche. I think that's the truth. I really was looking for love in males, not only in males, but even in my female friendships. When I love people, I love them hard because it's like if I give to you, if I gift you, if I spend a lot of time with you, if I'm nice to you, then maybe just maybe you won't leave me like my dad left me. So it's the whole matter of can I buy you? Can I buy your time? Can I give you sex to keep you? Can I give you money to keep you? Can I do your papers in high school and college to keep you? What can I do to keep the relationship with you? Yeah.
Wow.
And it's the fear of being alone.
Right. So you
Yeah.
really didn't have enough time to even know how to love yourself, how to appreciate who you were. It
Oh
was just
no.
looking
Mm-mm.
for that, looking for something to fill that void, basically.
To fill the void. Yeah.
So as you became a young adult woman, how did life unfold for you there? Because I know you have a lot to unpack tonight, We're
Right.
talking feeling unpretty, being
Yeah.
depressed. And we're going to get to the infidelity later on that, I'm so grateful of you being an open book. So just
Yes.
walk us through that process.
So I think the first time I considered suicide, I was in high school. I was at my mom's house. And the enemy just told me that life would not get any better than it was today. And so there was no hope, even though in my mind I knew, okay, when I graduate high school, I have the option to get out of her house. It just wasn't the life that I wanted. Didn't really, I was popular, but I was popular for the wrong reasons. I was popular because I would make people laugh or make people joke or act a fool. But I was really, really smart and did not feel pretty because Carlotta, nobody told me. Nobody came to me and said, "You're beautiful. You're pretty. You're wonderful." I was the smart kid, but I wasn't the pretty kid. I wasn't the beautiful kid. I wasn't the gorgeous kid. And so finding out later in life, of course, that my love language is words of affirmation. When people don't tell me anything, I'm left to assume that ugly is what it is because you didn't call me beautiful, you didn't call me pretty, you didn't give me gorgeous, so I must be the opposite.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That is layers and layers and layers right there. Living through life, being a young, beautiful little girl,
Yeah.
growing up
Yes.
as a young adult, and
Yes.
never hearing the words, "You are beautiful."
Never.
Never
Never.
hearing those words. I cannot even imagine, even with the life that I had, I couldn't
Yeah.
imagine that happening to someone else. Wow, wow. And
And not even hearing Carlotta, not even hearing I love you until maybe I went to college. I don't remember hearing I love you in the home. Yeah.
wow. Um, so those words, sometimes it's not even the words that you do hear, because I've been a victim of, the verbal abuse and physical
Yes.
abuse, but sometimes, which you just made it known to me, it can also be those words that you never hear.
Right. So if you never say it, then I'm left to assume the opposite, or I'm left to my own assumptions, whatever those are. But if you never say it, then what does that mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Let's go ahead and move forward to the depression. How did those things come about? Was it something that happened like an isolated event, or was it just something that was compounded on you?
So a lot of my depression came from, again, trouble in high school and then trouble in college as well. Again, promiscuity, looking for love in all the wrong places, and then seeing these men and boys on campus and knowing, okay, I was with this person last night and they don't want anything to do with you. Like they don't want to be seen with you. Like I don't want people to know that I know you. Yeah. So it was, again, looking for love in all the wrong places, and it there was no fulfillment until I came to Christ, probably my junior year of college.
Wow. So that right there, the transparency is surreal.
Yeah.
Surreal transparency right here.
Yeah.
Okay, Tanisha, best-selling author, the 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 person to go to, the expert in her field as a writer, is just being an open book, saying that
Yeah.
I used to be that person. And after the event, after the act, they didn't want to
Yeah.
have anything to do with me. So it was like you were invisible.
Yeah. It was like, if you see me on campus, don't speak to me. I don't want people to know that I know you. Hmm. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
And of course, what would be to follow would be depression. And then how long did the depression last? Was it for a few years? Was it a short time frame? Do you recall how long the depression
It
lasted?
it would come in spurts for weeks. So it would come in spurts for weeks until I found something else that could bring me joy and pull me out of it. But I praise God for a friend of mine, we're still friends 21 years later from college. She would go to the club with me. She would go out with me. She was my what is it? The driver when you drinking. She was my driver when I was drinking because she didn't drink. But one thing she would do is she would tell me, I'll go to the club with you on Saturday if you go to church with me on Sunday. And eventually she won.
What a
She
friend.
won. Yeah,
What
she
a
won.
friend.
Yeah,
She knew
she
what she
said,
was doing. Tanisha,
yeah,
she
she
knew
said,
what
I'll
she was
drive you to the club.
doing.
Yeah, I'll drive you to the club. I'll make sure you get back to the dorm safely, but I'm gonna pick you up for church tomorrow morning.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. It
Yeah.
seems like it's so much content, and I feel like we're going really, really fast. So I just want
Right.
to slow down just a little bit. I feel like I
Okay.
got my seatbelt on and I'm strapped and I'm holding on.
Yes. It's a roller coaster. Yes.
Oh, it is. And I'm so grateful that you're sharing today because somebody needs to hear this.
Yes.
Somebody needs to hear this. And I don't think it's too many women or men that would say to the world, you know, I was promiscuous. I put myself out there. I lacked
Yep.
self-love. I was depressed. People didn't even want to have anything to do with me. But here I am sharing my truth.
Yeah. That's real.
That is amazing. You are the
Yes.
real MVP, Tenita Johnson.
Thank you.
And thank you. Thank you for being so transparent. I want to encourage the audience. I normally don't do this, but if you do have a question, if I deem it fit for the platform, I would love to answer a question. If you want to ask a question pertaining to what we've already covered, nothing outside of what Tanisha's already stated, I feel it's very, very it's taking fear and just removing it out the way to be so transparent in these areas where normally people would cover up. So
Yes.
Tanisha is just saying, here I am, bold as ever. Learn from me. I am the example. And
Yes.
you can tell by her posture, she is not that broken little girl anymore.
Right.
You can tell by her posture right now today that she doesn't feel unpretty.
Right.
She knows she's beautiful. And we're gonna get to more in just a few moments. Tanisha, if you would take us to a place that you would deem as your lowest low throughout all of your trials that you endured in your early adulthood.
So the lowest low was probably 3 years ago when I considered suicide. And I had just lost my corporate job, the last corporate job that I've held in 2017, around July 4th. I had just produced a sold out stage production. And probably the week after the stage play, it was as if somebody had took me to the top of a cliff and pushed me off and dropped me. And it was almost if I was in a haze, like, what do I do now? What do I do now? And I could literally feel the enemy coming up over my shoulders. Like there was something on me that was saying, God is done with you. This has been the highlight of your life, the stage play, the books. You've done all you're going to do. Check yourself into a mental institution because you need to kill yourself. Like God is not going to do anything more. This was 3 years ago. This was not
Wow.
childhood. This was not college. This was 3 years ago.
The transparency is real.
Yeah.
Attempted suicide just simply 3 years ago. That
Yeah.
shows me also another point of view is that look at how far you can come here.
Yes.
Look how far you can come when you can actually share your truth. That
Yes.
is very, very, it's very
And so
interesting.
Carlotta, a big part of it was I didn't know how to be an entrepreneur. Nobody in my family is an entrepreneur. Nobody in my family is a business owner, unless you count the drug dealers and the street people.
Wow. So exactly, that's where we're getting ready to dive off in that because I want to know, I'm
Yeah.
very curious, and I'm sure the viewers are curious as well. How do you go from all of what you went through, fatherless, promiscuous, feel pretty, loved, ostracized, abandoned, to say the least, to
Yeah.
finally turn your life around? I'm looking for that pinpoint answer, that answer that's like, this is what started it. Can you find that answer for me?
Again, I take you back to college to that friend who took me to a church in the middle of nowhere in Paris, Missouri. If I pointed to you on the map, you wouldn't even know. It's 1,000 people is the population. Carlotta is small. It's nobody there. But that's where I found Christ. And I remember leaving that church like, I don't want to drink no more. I want to change the way I dress. I want to change the way I speak. Everything changed. And like I said, she was faithful. She was faithful enough to go to the club with me. And she was patient enough to say, I know if I go to the club with this person, but I take her to church enough, eventually God's going to win.
So, you know what I would call that? I would call that when people use the phrase, they are not your assignment, you was her assignment.
Yes.
Very, very clear.
Very much so.
I'm so grateful that she was. So,
yes.
Your story is almost like mine in another piece, because I remember being so broken and just being so out of it. I didn't know who I was, where I was. I had no clue. And it also happened for me that way. I was in the back of a church and I heard a preacher. I couldn't tell you what the name of the church was or where it was. I know it was in Mississippi. And the preacher said, the devil has been doing everything he can to stop you. He sent his best after you, his best demons. Every door that you want to be open is always slammed shut in your face. It never happens for you. And everything is blocked. And I'm telling you, Tanisha, it's like he was reading me just like a book. And what he said next is that forever, that's the moment when things start changing for me, because what he said next was, the devil has been giving his best, sending his best to kill you, destroy you, and block you from your blessing. But you still here. He said, you still here. And so at that time, it really helped me to realize that obviously there must be something to me. There must be something to me being here. Shanetta, if you would, let me know if you can. I know we're having some technical difficulties, but I want to make sure that the viewers can actually see and hear us clearly. I'm not sure if Tanisha is able to see her right now, but I am going to hold it down for a moment. We're talking about the life of Tenita Johnson, who is an expert in the field of writing. She's going to be sharing more of her story in just a moment because she has a lot more to share. But I tell you what, let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and have a quick commercial break, and we will be right back.
Champion, last one standing, you a champion. Anybody winning, you a champion. Everybody winning, you a champion. 24/7, nothing in between. All of this golden and turn me a king. To be the greatest, you gotta compete. Hot like the sun, I'm bringing the heat. One verse when it can't stop. I was made to win, it was made as a copy. It's obvious, I bodied this. So if we top 10, I'ma top the list. Gotta do it for your team, put the city on the map. Never argue back, tell them look at the stats. No matter where you at, leave it all on the track. Cause winners gon' win and the losers gon' chat. Yeah, you can tell by my step on the field, I'm a champion.
I'm Marshall Thompson, the Unknown Warrior, WKA MMA National Champion. If you want to be the best, come train with the best.
All right. We're back with Tenita Johnson's story, a powerful overcomer. She is sharing her truth so courageously. She's talking about being promiscuous and having encounters with people, and they had nothing. They didn't want anything to do with her after the fact. Now, it takes a lot of guts and boldness to declare your truth and share information to that degree with the world and stand here today totally opposite of that little girl she grew up being. We're going to give her a few moments because I know she was having some technical difficulties. And okay, thank you, Shanetta. I appreciate that. But I will go on to start sharing some more of her story because it was about to get turned up for real. Shanetta, I'm saying Shanetta. I'm looking at all kind of messages. Thank you all for letting me know that you can see me and hear me. Tanisha, she's getting ready to tap into another part of her story, and my mouth is like, wow, you're going to share that? And she's like, yes, I'm an open book. Like, you have to just know Tanisha's personality to appreciate the rawness. It's hilarious. She keeps me laughing, even just by being an onlooker with her posts and her captions and the way that she presents herself. I call her like the writer, but she also makes me laugh so much. And I see that she has joined us, so she's back. Welcome back, Tanisha. I was just filling in. Are you able to hear me? Can you hear me? Can't hear you right now. We're going to work through this thing. You know, there's always obstacles that come in our way. All right. But listen, I'm going to tell you right now, you're about to hear an amazing part of her story. And she's about to go into something that most people wouldn't dare to share or even say out loud. Okay, so just with us. I'm just going to make sure that she is good. I think she's ready to rock and roll. So, Tanisha, we've already had our commercial break. Are you able to get your audio clear? Can't hear you just yet. But be sure to share this with at least 5 friends and family. I'm sure Tanisha is not the only person,
Hello?
the only woman. Oh, I hear you loud and clear.
There it is. All right. The devil.
Yes, come on now. We're going to overcome this. We're not going to play.
Yes. Yes.
That's right.
He trying it.
Oh, yes. I'm sure Tanisha is not the only woman who has went through what she's went through and been in the back room, come out in public, and nobody wants to acknowledge you. That's a truth. That's like a deep wound. And to be able to share that and overcome that and encourage other people, Tanisha, I got to say hats off to you. Now I want to uncover another part of your story, and then we're going to get to the glory part, okay? I would like you to talk about the infidelity in marriage, so that you're very an open book about that. If you would just have it your way and share with us those details that you would like to share.
So essentially, me and my husband were in a rough patch. We probably hadn't been speaking for maybe 2 weeks. I went home to Chicago, where I still have family in Chicago, family and friends from childhood, and basically had a one night stand because in my mind, my marriage was over. My marriage was over. And so I really didn't feel like I had anything to lose. I felt like my family was already broken, like it was already done. It was already a done deal, and I didn't have anything to lose. And then I came back home, and the Holy Spirit said, "Tell him." And I'm like, "God, tell who?" And he's like, "Tell him, or I will." That's exactly what God said to me. And so I remember God specifically telling me to tell him. And so when I told him, of course, his first instinct was divorce. He packed up the house. He told me he was leaving. We had discussed finances and kids and arrangements and all of that. And 3 days later, the Holy Spirit spoke to him and said, "Go pray for your wife. Go cover your wife. I've forgiven you for more than what she has done." And so that was 7 years ago, 7 or 8 years ago now. We have been married now 17 years, and it is glorious, glorious. But on the other side of all that, because we went through the ringer of, him staying, no, I'm gonna go, no, we should separate, no, we got an apartment, I got an apartment, we split furniture, we split taxes, we split money, we split bank accounts. Nobody went anywhere. Nobody went anywhere. And it's all God, because at the end of the day, for some people, that is the end of their marriage. And rightfully so. Rightfully so. At that point, he had a decision to make. He can stay and make it work, or he was technically, according to the word, he could walk away. and he chose to stay.
Wow. 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 I mean, remarkable transparency. I see the viewers are just shook, like, whoa. It's the fact that it happened, Tanisha, but your integrity is impeccable. And the fact that you just have a heart to do the right thing.
No, no, let
Murder.
me tell you something. No, no,
I'm just
because
saying, I know you
I
did
was,
the wrong thing, but to share
yeah,
it, I think give that information up. There are people who would say, I would never tell. If you didn't touch me, it's a song called If You Didn't Touch Me, It Wasn't Me. If I'm
yeah,
not mistaken. Okay.
yeah. But literally, that's why I'm like, when you have the real holy feel, Holy Ghost, and God tells you to do something, you will be sick until you do. I'm talking about I'm physically sick, throwing up, couldn't look him in the eye, couldn't sleep, couldn't eat, anxiety, just you will be sick until you will be tormented until you do what God told you to do.
Wow. So we've overcome a lot. A
Yes.
lot. And like I cannot stop. Thank you for your transparency. I haven't really seen this level of transparency on the heart of the matter. So I am just ecstatic. I know somebody is gonna do better, believe better, and
Yes.
overcome your testimony, Tanisha. So now let's like, turn it down to something else right now. Let's talk about how. I mean, how do you go from being a broken little girl who really doesn't know who she is, and that was given to you. How were you supposed to know? And you overcame so much. You went through a lot and you overcame a lot. How when did you first find a love for writing?
Oh wow. My love for writing was even when I was little because that was my outlet. So I was raised in a house where it was like children are seen, not heard. So there was no, what are you thinking? How are you feeling? What's your opinion about the matter? My mother didn't care. Like, you should be grateful I provide, So
It's that old
my out,
school.
yeah, yeah. And so my outlet was always writing. I actually started with poetry. I wrote poetry when I was little. Um, and then it progressed to newspaper and magazine and books.
Wow, wow.
Yeah.
And how did you get good at it? Because one thing I know about your writing style, you are the expert in your field. So how did you go from just writing, because that's how you get your emotions out, to being so good at it?
Absolutely. So I went to school for journalism. So all of the structural classes and notes and all of the on-site training at a real newspaper and a real magazine and all of that, I had it. So I thought I would be in traditional journalism. I'm just using those degrees in a different way.
Love it. I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. And so
Yeah.
how were you inspired to do what you're doing now? Let's go ahead and dive off into some of the ways that you serve, some of the ways that you work and help other people. Let's talk about that.
Absolutely. So let me just say this. One of my biggest inspirations was Maya Angelou and the poem And Still I Rise. And it's like, you may write me down with your bitter, twisted lies. I'm not fashioned to suit, the motto and all of that, but still I rise.
Still, all right.
Um, yeah. And so that poem did something to me, even in my teenage years, all the way to college. It just did something for me because I could relate to it. And she was a famous poet who I could look to and be like, wow, yeah, she gets it. But today it's a blessing that I not only get to write my own books, I have over 15 books. But now I help other people write their bestseller and tell their story and get it out into the marketplace and monetize on it, not just get it out, but actually develop multiple streams of income from their books.
Amazing, amazing. So tell us about everything else that you have going on, and is there anything next, or tell us about anything that you would like to share with us about your work and who you are and what you do, the untold version.
Absolutely. So I am working on, besides the books, I have 15 books. One of those books we talked about in the video briefly When the Smoke Clears, A Phoenix Rises, we actually turned into a stage play. So we did that to 2 sold out audiences in downtown Detroit in 2017 and 2018. Now I am forming a nonprofit this year based on an event that I've done the last 3 years. It's called Turquoise and Tiaras, and it's a healing and breakthrough event for women of sexual abuse. I am a survivor of molestation, and so I invite women who've been molested or raped or any type of sexual, physical abuse, emotional abuse, and things like that to come out for a night of empowerment. And the way God gave it to me is that He would give them power back as if it never happened. And I said, well, God, only you can do that, because the memories are still there. And I know we will still remember it, but the sting doesn't have to be there. So moving more into that for my passion. And of course, now I'm publishing. I'm not just helping people write books, but I'm full publishing packages, which, Carlotta, I think when I edited your book, I was not publishing yet.
Listen, let me tell y'all something. I'll tell anybody. Like, I know you have a quite a few people that's coming. Hey, Carlotta referred me. Carlotta referred me because
Right.
I'll share it with the world. Is .com. Period. Okay. Seriously, had no idea your story was like this, but
Yes.
it's just amazing. Your work is impeccable.
Thank
Seriously,
you.
to say the least.
Yeah. So in addition to that, Carlotta, Lord willing, this year I'll produce my first short film. It's called What Happens in This House, and it's based on molestation. So I see God using the broken pieces and the strongholds and everything that I've been through for His glory. If I got to do it in a stage play, a screenplay, a movie, a short film, an audio book, whatever, God get the glory. And He can't get the glory if we don't tell the story.
Come on now. I love it. I love it. You're absolutely right. I'm looking forward to some of these screenplays and everything else you have in the works. So if someone wanted to contact you and do business with you, how can they connect with you, Tanisha?
Absolutely. So they can visit the website, soitiswritten.net. That's the name of the publishing and writing company. Or they can email me at info@soitiswritten.net.
All right. And at this moment, anything that you would like to share from your heart, anything that you feel would put the pieces together for your episode today?
Yeah, if I could leave the people with one thing, it would be do your work. Do your work to heal. There are a lot of people who are hurt and bitter and nasty and broken and have not taken the time to do the work. It took you years and years of hurt. So it may take some years to peel back the layers. I know people go to counseling for like 6 months and they stop. I've been in counseling for 8 years now, and I am still peeling back the layers on childhood stuff. So I would say, do your work. Like Ayanna Van Zandt says, do your work. Do your work so that you can be healed and whole for real. Not the people who just run around the church and shout and fall out, and then you go back and you still mad and bitter. Do the work.
No, by the time they make it in the parking lot, they hollering and cussing somebody out because they don't cut them off.
Right.
So yes, we have to do the work.
Do the work.
Do the work.
Yeah.
So real. I think that's a very important takeaway. I just want to say thank you for your time. Thank you for being so transparent. And if you just happen to tune in, you definitely want to catch the replay because Tanisha's story is going to knock your socks off. Thank you for joining us today, Tanisha.
Thank you, Carlotta. Have a good night.
You have a good one. I want to thank Martial Arts and Academy for sponsoring today's show of The Heart and the Matter. And we look forward to seeing you all next Thursday. So have an amazing day.
Thank you for tuning in to The Heart of the Matter. If you would like to sponsor an episode or be a guest on the show, email theheartofthemattershow@gmail.com. We look forward to seeing you next Thursday for another amazing episode.